Babes, I am here with the fabulous Nichole Lancaster. She is a fellow beauty coach, right? A spa business coach. And I actually literally ran into her at the Palm Beach Spa Show hosted by American Spa, IECSC, which I think is changed now. They got bought
Yeah.
out by something. But in any case, I am so excited to have her on the show. Hey, Miss Nichole.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. And you literally did. You like came down an escalator and I was there and you were like, hi. It was a literal run-in.
Like, hey, I know you,
Yeah.
and we need to connect, or you need to come on the show.
What a great
Your
connection.
face, I think, you were like, okay, all right, like, fine.
Yeah, well, because I had just interviewed the CEO of Circadia. So I was standing
Yes.
there with Michael, and at first I was like, wait, who? Which one? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, hey. And you were like, in. So it was a great way to meet, a great connection. I'm so glad that we did.
Yes, absolutely. So okay, wait, yeah, tell us watching and listening
Yeah.
how you were basically like the host podcast of the show, which is
Yeah.
so cool. Tell us how that came to be. How did you get to that level as an esthetician yourself?
So I would say one of my biggest pieces of advice to anyone in life with anything, I even tell my 9-year-old daughter this, ask for what you want. And we get so nervous and so scared of hearing no, right? Because it's rejection and we're like, oh no, they said no, I'm not good enough. We start playing all these stories in our head. Um, I have spoken at IECSC before. I Years and years ago, I formulated and manufactured an intimate skincare brand inside of my spa. And it just became a lot for me to do that and services. So I've presented at IECSC as an exhibitor. I've spoken at IECSC, soon to be Well, before, but there was an opportunity for social media ambassadors. And I was like, you know what? This sounds fun because I speak at shows all over the US. I speak at Premiere. I've spoken at this one. It would be fun to just do social media because then I can be a little feral. Like whenever I speak, I always kind of have to be on my best behavior because
Oh,
I go to get lunch and people are standing behind me and they're like, I took your class. Can we get
oh,
pictures? Like I feel like there's a little bit more pressure.
yeah.
For social media, I feel like you can just be feral. Like you can just run
Mhm.
around. And so I applied, I got the position. I brought someone with me as an assistant, and she was actually interested in speaking to Michael. And I was so embarrassed. I had his title totally wrong because I didn't know anything about him. And so I
Kind of
walked up and I
like
was like, hey,
me, kind of like me before we got on the show today. Yeah,
yeah, well,
totally
he had
confused.
his title totally wrong, though, like, so I'm walking up to interview him, like, can we speak to you? And he's like, yeah, of course. And so I'm like, my apologies, you're COO. And he's like, CEO. And I literally just started giggling because I was like, oh, and I started giggling because I had it wrong. So
God,
it was just
God.
a funny moment, but it was a lot of fun to just be able
Yeah.
to. I was able to interview Savannah Boda, which I have so much respect for in our industry. She is just such a self-aware, smart woman for 28 years old. It's just insane.
Hmm.
I mean, she projects a lot of that online, but when you actually speak to her, she's very self-aware, very intelligent woman. So it was just fun to be able to kind of go around, pop in and out of things. So it was great, but essentially I got it because I asked for it. I saw there was an
Hmm.
opportunity and I asked for it and I took that chance and I got it and it was great.
I love that. It's like a living example, living testimony of this is what happens when you actually just go for it. When you're just bold enough
Yeah.
and you're just like, boom, let's try it. Let's see, like you throw yourself at it. I
I tell
love
people to get
that.
uncomfy. I'm like, you got to get uncomfortable because if you
Yeah.
just stay comfortable, you're not going to grow. So get uncomfortable, ask for what you want, even if it feels big or nervous or you don't feel like you're worthy of it. You are
Hmm.
worthy of it, and you're going to hear yes eventually. So just go for it.
I love it. Okay, which that's a great segue into your spa coaching and your
Mhm.
mentorship. So tell us a little bit about your programs as far as that's concerned.
Sure. So I've been in the industry for over 20 years. I started with special effects makeup in high school. My teacher actually created like a second level of special effects makeup class for me because I was like, well, I want to do it again. Like I want a second credit. I want to do it again. So I've always been in the beauty industry. my early 20s, I was a business manager for Estee Lauder. I managed about $1 million worth of product and skincare sales. So I had that corporate knowledge of setting goals. And this was during the recession.
Mm-hmm.
Estee Lauder was brilliant and they um, reinvested money into education because they knew if people would go out and talk about their brand, they'd have sales, even during a recession. And it worked. There was an increase in
Hmm.
2008 in their sales. It was a brilliant
Whoa.
model. But it's helped me along the way in my businesses understanding how this $56 billion beauty brand operates.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I did that. I got my aesthetic license. It was a medical aesthetic program that I took for about a year. So my
Cool.
background is lasers, medical aesthetics, med spas. I eventually became like a manager at a med spa. Um, and I've helped manage day spas as well. And I got pregnant and I was just kind of like, I just need to have, again, flexibility in my schedule. I was a single mom, pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened my own space and the first year I only made $15,000. So here I was making people 6 and 7 figures, and I was like, I can do it on my own. And I applied none of it. So I essentially grew my business just kind of from the ground up from a $500 tax return, a borrowed massage bed, PCA samples were my back bar, um, into a fully booked, working 3 days a week, six-figure business solo, building a team. And eventually it just kind of got too hard for me. I had a lot of people ask about mentorship. My body hurt, my neck hurt, my hands hurt. And I was like, I just can't make money inside of a treatment room. It's just getting too much for me. I'm not having the time with my daughter that I really want. And so I moved all of my business online. So I still have my space. That's where I am now. I've got tenants. But being online just affords me the flexibility to be with my daughter. It also allows me to empower and inspire other estheticians because in our industry we're not really taught business. We're
Mm-mm.
like, go solo, you can do it, or you do like a little business module inside of your aesthetic school program, but you're not really taught numbers and setting goals and tracking your business, and profits and losses and all the things that really, and sales. That's the biggest thing I see with estheticians is they just get nervous to ask for people to rebook with them, you know so they're not taught all those things. So one of my passions is empowering women to be financially independent and successful on their own. And so being able to move my business online and now mentor other estheticians, I have group programs, I have digital projects, and I work one-on-one with spa owners and estheticians. And being able to do that just kind of fuels my passion because I feel so good when all of a sudden they're having this increase in revenue and their business starts to take off and they're like, oh, I could do it. I just didn't necessarily know how to in the beginning. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how everything ended up online. I just needed some freedom and flexibility and I wanted to be able to help other business owners.
Mm-hmm. And with all of that, I like corporate experience, you worked at day spas, you were a man, like all of those managerial skills, which is business, helped you to be able to teach others. And that's incredible. I love that. And then on top of it, you're
Yeah,
a single mom kicking ass.
I'm
And
trying.
you're like, this is do or die. So, and I'm not gonna die.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I think a lot of us as parents, if you're listening, you have children, a lot of us know. And if you're a single parent, a lot of us know shit gets real hard sometimes, right? And we just have to figure it out and manage because there's really no other option. So that's just kind of what I've done. I do a lot of like mindset work and a lot of um just work on myself and I kind of, you know, once I map out what I want my life to look like and I just kind of figure out what I can do to create it, to give my daughter and myself the life that I want for us. Because,
Hmm.
I mean, she grew up in the spa. She was like a mouse. She would be, in my office sometimes for 8 hours when I had clients. Like she's so well behaved because she grew up here.
That's
But
cute.
now it's nice to like not have to go get her from school and come back, and see
Hmm.
clients and it's sweet. But yeah, you're right. You just got to kind of figure it out sometimes and bills have to get paid and kids have to get fed and it's just how am I going to make it work? That's always my mindset is how do I make it work? Not it's not going to work. It's okay, well, how do I make it work? So far it seemed to work out.
Exactly. That is perfect because I know I've met a lot of Esties, a lot. And what kills me personally as a business owner is, and you've probably experienced this too, where they are so talented, they have such potential, they're like, they know the things and they can totally do it. But then when they are, I don't want to say put on the spot, but when they are in the moment, I don't know what happened. Like they choke, they let it drop, like they forget everything. Like, what is that? Have you experienced that?
I have, and I've actually experienced it myself too. I mean, a
Okay.
lot of times, if you suffer with any type of mental health, which I think a lot of us do right now, between anxiety or depression or whatever it is,
Yes.
sometimes things can feel really overwhelming. So sometimes you know exactly what to do, but it's almost like your subconscious freezes you in that like flight or flight, right? Like I was talking
Mm,
to a executive coach one day and I was like, how do you get through like when you freeze? And she's like, you just have to. Like there's no right answer. It's just putting one foot in front of the other. And sometimes
yeah.
I've even just had to physically make myself move, even when it felt overwhelming or like almost painful just to like get up and do the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just getting up and putting one foot, even if it's 30 minutes in your business, or even if it feels really big and overwhelming, and you're like, God, I just can't do it, well, you have to do it. So what's one small, like, how does it make it easier for you? How can you just do 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour to work on your business versus, the actual services aspects? Like, what's one small thing you can do to just get your business one step closer? Because even just those small little movements in your business can create big change. So what can you do to just keep yourself putting one foot in front of the other? Um, but I see that a lot. And that's like when people ask me, what's your success rate? And I'm like, well, I don't necessarily have like an analytical calculated success rate, but what I can tell you is the people that show up and do the work, their revenue will have increases within 90 days. I've had people who've doubled their revenue, within weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but they have to actually put the work. You can't just be told what to do. And I talk about this when I speak. Like
Mm-hmm.
we go to these shows and it's inspiring, right? We feel fired up and we're like, yes, we're going to do it. And then we get back and sure, we're inspired, but we don't actually have people to help us then move forward, or we don't
Mm-hmm.
actually put the things into place to move forward. Um, so I think that when you actually take that action in your business and don't just go off that inspiration, and you actually just get in there and do the work, do exactly what you're told to do by people who have done it and have struggled just like you, success leaves clues and you'll be successful too, but you have to put in the work as uncomfortable or like as we talked about, even if you go into freeze, what's
Mm-hmm.
one small thing you can do to get out of it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I love it. All right. So now let's talk about that money piece that you mentioned with the skincare side of the beauty world. What, I mean, what are the key performance indicators for estheticians? Because I know it's going to be different than hairstylists. What are those, or what are the big indicators for you that you kind of stick to when it comes to your team, yourself?
So I would say initially, as an esthetician, and one of my clients right now is a franchise owner.
Mm,
Um, And one of the key things that I tell him too right now is ask your staff what they want their hourly to be. As an esthetician, I think that's your very basic. That's where we start ground zero. Like, what is my minimum hourly rate of what I want to work for? Well, if you're going to tell me $100 an hour, but your facials are $65 and it takes you an hour to do, something's off, right?
mm,
So we
mm-hmm,
either need to sell more product or raise our prices. So I definitely think your hourly rate as an esthetician, know that, have that set in your mind. I also like the average unit sales. Okay, like how much are you making on average per client that you see? Because again, if you're wanting to make $100 an hour but you're seeing a brow client and it costs you $15, to do the brows and it's taking you 30 minutes, you're it's just not there. So I'm big into like setting manageable goals that way and breaking it down, and just kind of like reverse engineering.
yeah.
But those I think would be some of the biggest ones. And your retention rate is huge because if you have clients that you're seeing one time and they're not coming back, and your retention rate is like a 10, 11, even 20%, there's something between your service, their entire experience, right? Between booking, the confirmations coming to you, like it might not just be you, it might be your follow-up. Maybe you had none. So your retention rate, I think, is huge as well because it's going to tell you if there's opportunity in your business. You can't just keep getting new clients. You need
Mm-hmm.
to get them and you need to nurture them because that's going to how you make money is off those loyal clients, not just a bunch of foot traction in your door.
Now, I know for us as owners, as coaches, we're kind of just naturally like, okay, we're gonna just do the things. We're gonna follow up. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. But I found that some estheticians, some beauty pros, like they just don't know how to
Yeah.
nurture. They don't know how to nurture, which for me and us, like that probably blows our minds. But
Yeah.
what does nurturing your clients look like? Can you share?
Um, I would say the biggest thing for me that I see people, what they don't do, it's ask them to read book. And for
Hmm.
me, I know that I've had that done with like estheticians, and I'm like, oh my God, did they hate me? Like, why don't they want me back on their books? Like as a client, I took it personal. So your clients might be taking it personal too. Like, was I
Oh.
awkward? Did I say something wrong? So just asking to read book really puts that person in your world and they become a
Hmm.
part of that. Social media, one of the big things that I specialize in is Instagram and ManyChat. I'm certified in Instagram marketing. But what I have seen historically with my clients who are in the beauty professionals, anywhere to 70 to 80% of your bookings come from Instagram most of the time. So if you don't actually nurture those clients on your Instagram. So let them have a little bit of your personal world. Let them see your day to day in your stories. You don't have to put that in your post, but let them see the day to day in your stories. Let them get to know you. If you talk about, your kids, let them get to like see a glimpse of your child here and there. I'm kind of weird about it
Hmm.
with my daughter, but little glimpses or, you talk about things in your life, you talk about things with your clients, put it into your stories so that they feel like they're part of your world. And then obviously the follow up. Don't just make them feel like they're being spammed. One of my favorite things to do is either to call them or to send a voice note because they're going to be like, what did
Oh,
Nichole say to me? Like, oh, that's weird. Like, Nichole didn't text me. She sent me a voice note. But now I'm like, hey, Susan, hope Mr. Mittens is doing well. I hope you enjoyed your facial.
it's so
We don't have
cute.
you rebooked, but making sure that you're actually rebooking them and adding that personal touch I think really goes a long way, especially now where we've like lost the human connection. I think everyone really enjoys that human connection. So, how can you create that with your clients? How can you remember special things about them? And I'm all about the five senses. So, how does your room smell? How does it feel? How do you create a full experience for them? Because Micro
Mm.
Mondays that used to work in the 90s, where, $30 micros come in, get your service and leave, don't work anymore. So, how can you separate yourself and make this person now your client? And make them just feel like part of your community. And I think when you nurture that and create that human experience for your clients, I think that really keeps them in your bubble and on your books, and they want to spend money with you and they're loyal.
I love that. I love how you're incorporating all of the senses, estheticians, beauty pros, and in the spa space. You guys are healers. Like
Yeah.
genuinely, like I'm sure like in the old days, 1800s, 1700s, you guys would have been witches, but
Yeah. Burned at the
because
stake.
yeah, because you're using
Yeah.
witch hazel and all these things that are natural cures, you know? So what is I guess what's a struggle that you're currently going through and what has been your biggest struggle, whether personal or professional?
Ooh, I think my biggest struggle professionally
Hmm.
was when I first had got this space, I wanted to build it out for my skincare brand.
Hmm.
And I created this intimate skincare brand, and nobody at the time really had it. This was back in 2017, 18. So it
Hmm.
was very, very new to the market, very new concept. But I wanted it for myself. I had just had my baby. I wanted skincare, and nothing on the market was like what I wanted. I just wanted it natural because that area is it's very sensitive and it goes
Hmm.
straight into like your hormones and stuff.
Yeah.
So I initially had built out this space to manufacture my own skincare. So I actually went to formulation school out of the EU. I paid thousands and thousands of dollars to learn how to formulate skincare. I sourced everything, which a lot of times you don't think about, but when you get like a jar, you have to source the jar, the lid, the liner, the labels. I learned how to design, I learned all the FDA. It was a lot of work. And at the time, I was still seeing clients. So I'm seeing clients to then be able to make all this skincare, to pay for my team, to pay for um, production, and to pay for shows. And I think I just at the time was not a good leader because I was
Mm.
still in the room so much and I had expectations of people and the roles. that I had for them weren't the best roles. And there was no accountability. There was not
Mm,
like, I had a spa manager, but it was like she was helping on the spot, and like it just really wasn't operating the way that I needed it to. And I wasn't operating as the leader that I needed to. So it became a time where I had to invest a ton of money. Like I was going through staff changes. I needed to source all of our jars, like everything again. And I was just like, you know what? I feel like in this moment, it's just not the right timing. And again, I was kind of over being tied to the actual spa and the treatment room
mm,
and having to be in a physical place at a time. So I think that was one of my biggest challenges, but I think I also was able to reflect and learn and was like, Nichole, you weren't a great leader. Like you were in
mm,
the room so much trying to pay for things that you weren't actually present in the business that you were really trying to grow. So that to me was a really great self-reflection moment of understanding like these were my opportunities as a leader. I could have been better. I could have been more accountable to my team. I could have coached them a little better instead of really just kind of throwing people into roles and having expectations of them that weren't necessarily the best fit for those people.
mm. Okay. And what has been your biggest failure, personal or
Um,
professional?
Babe, I fail all the time. I fail literally all the time. But that
I love how you
is
whispered it too. You're like, I fail.
But I think that's how I grow. I would probably say
Yeah.
that. That was probably one of my saddest points in business, just
Yeah.
because I loved that brand so much. And the way that we did the marketing, it was real women, real bodies. Like my clients
Yeah.
would come in and be like, that woman looks like me. I'm going to buy your products. And I was
Oh,
creating this beautiful, like, I'm a feminist and this beautiful, like, feminine empowerment where women just felt beautiful in their bodies. Again, it
yeah.
wasn't that like 1990s stick thin Caucasian model modeling my products. It was my friends who had like tattoos and cellulite and, hips and butt. And one of our models was pregnant. Like it just felt like real women. So I think that was probably, I don't necessarily like to call them failures because I feel like there's always lessons learned, but
Hmm.
that was definitely my most expensive um
Yeah.
that was misstep, my,
Oh,
my most
yeah.
expensive lesson,
Yeah.
and probably one of the saddest. I still own the trademark and the rights and all my formulations. So maybe one day, if I feel like getting back into manufacturing, I'll do that. But that was definitely one of the saddest moments was just closing that chapter of that brand.
Mm, yeah, I can imagine all that money, and you're like, I'm just gonna shelf this.
Yeah. And people still ask, right? People wanted to buy my client list. People wanted to buy my products. I mean, we were in like spas and stuff. And I also look back now because with all the tariff stuff going on, that would have broke me. So had I been able to actually really grow this business and then all this tariff stuff come in, we were buying all of the ingredients in the US, but packaging is so expensive in the US because they buy it from overseas and then they
Mm,
resell it here. So it would just, I feel like it would have broke me during, the tariff thing. So I,
sure.
I definitely see a lot of lessons in
Yeah,
closing that skincare brand. But I would definitely say that was probably my saddest and most expensive
sure.
uh, step in my business,
Ugh,
lesson in my business.
I know knowledge is so expensive, like for real.
So
Knowledge and
expensive.
experience. So,
Right.
what's your, everybody thinks that, oh, we just use soap. It's just soap. You wash faces for a living, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but besides that one, because that's a very common one, what is the myth that you get all the time about what you do?
That we're just the dumb pretty girls.
Oh,
Um, that we just that we just play in skincare, that it's fun, that we don't make money. Um, the way clients would disrespect me, and I'm like, babe, I'm making six figures. Like, canceling because they had like, so sorry, my real estate client called. And I was like, it's cool, babe, because you're like paying your cancellation fee and I'm still making like money, like I
mm-hmm.
think that's it. I think it's just that sometimes, especially at my age, I'm 39, and I feel like I look younger sometimes, and I definitely have a little bit of a younger, fun, charismatic style.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I'm like members of like a private member club here in Tampa, and I sit on a philanthropy committee, and so I do big girl things.
Which
But
I saw
sometimes,
that post. I saw that
thank
latest post.
you, thank you. Yeah, I got 40 under 42, most influential business owners. But sometimes I think just our industry, I think people just don't think that we can be pretty and smart. Like it's like their minds are blown. And then I start talking to them about like my analytics, or how I can build my own website. And all that came just because I had no money to do these things. So I had to learn.
Hmm. Hmm.
But when I start talking to people kind of more on a in-depth level, they're like, oh, wait, she understands marketing. She understands, analytics. She understands business. She's not just the cute spa girl that can, do a facial.
Wow, people are ridiculous. I do. I get very passionate. We've had a couple of those people in my salon and spa, and they're like, "Oh, did you have to go to school for this?" And I could be on the other side. I could be in like at the front door, and I hear that, and I lose it. I lose it, and I go to that client, and excuse me. Yeah, their education many times is more expensive than your lawyers and doctors. Okay, so can you just
So crazy.
enjoy your service? Thank you.
I'm so petty Betty though, when they say things like that, I'm like, nope. And and then I just want them to be worrying the entire time. Like, wait, was she kidding? Like, was she being sarcastic? Like, because like you've been disrespectful, I kind of just want to mess with you a tiny bit. So if
Yeah.
someone was like, "Did you have to go to school?" I'd be like, "Nope." And you're my first client. Let's go. Let's see how this
Oh,
goes.
shoot. That's a
Like,
great one too.
nope, let's see if I can figure it out though. And then they would be worried. I did that with a few laser clients in the past, and they were like, "Wait, are you kidding?" And I'm like, "Yes.
Oh my
Let's just get your service done. You'll be fine."
Then you're like you're gonna be okay. You'll be
Yeah,
fine.
totally fine. I
Oh my
promise.
God. So what's your secret to success? Especially now that you got that award recently, which is so cool, by the way.
Thank you.
What is that secret?
I think, everyone always says it, just don't stop. I am in a lot of these Facebook groups, and estheticians, I think, sometimes feel really overwhelmed and they're really sad because they go in with this passion. Again, they don't know how to run their business, and it's not their fault. Um, but then they have to stop because then they don't have bills to pay. They have bills to pay, but they don't have the money to pay it, or they don't know what to do in their business. So I would say get a mentor because, again, success leaves clues. And I work with a lot of people who are smarter than me, and I love that.
Mm.
I they had this like free networking event for mentors here in Tampa, and it was with the Tampa Bay Business Journal. And I was 2 weeks post hysterectomy, and I was like, you know what? I guess I'll go. And I went prepared though. Like I looked at all the mentors. I saw who maybe could help me benefit and grow my business. I looked at their LinkedIn's. I wrote down questions for them. Like I wanted to get the most out of it, not just go and pop up and hopefully meet someone. And the very last one, I went to the bathroom. I came back and I was like, oh, her chair's open. And so I sat down and we had a conversation. And she actually ended up being on the board of the same club that I'm in, so the Tampa Club. I'm like leaving Gasparilla, which is like a big like Mardi Gras party here in Tampa. And I see her picture on the wall and I was like, oh my God, that's my new mentor. Because we ended up connecting. She ended up emailing me. We ended up going for coffee. And I was like, oh my God, you're in the Tampa Club. And she has helped me. Like she invited me to be a part of this committee. And like she's really gotten me in the industry. Well, not in the industry, but she's really gotten me like to network better and be around other business people. So I would say for success, you definitely cannot do it alone. You cannot grow in isolation. So
Thank you.
if you are an esthetician who is just posting online, not really getting out, not really get on your community, it's very, very, very hard for you to grow that way. Get out and meet people. Even if, I mean, I've been going to like networking events where I almost threw myself into a panic attack. But get out because everything, like good things happen every time you get out. So get out, get a mentor, and just keep going. Don't give up. Think about, okay, like this is where I'm struggling in my business right now. What can I do to not struggle?
Mm.
Don't give your power away and be like, oh, it's too saturated. Oh, no one's going to come because our industry has an increase every year. Never give your power away like that. I always say, just think, how can you make it happen? How can I grow my business? How can I make more money? Get a mentor and try to keep into that like positive mindset of how can you make it happen versus it's not happening.
Hmm. What is the most important strength or trait you feel that beauty professionals need to have? To,
Delusion.
ooh,
I always tell
girl.
people that I am so freaking delusional. I think that I can make anything happen whenever I want it to happen, and it does. It literally does. Like I will be delusional enough to email, the CEO of something and be like, "Hey, I'm Nichole Lancaster." Like, like you should know me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, girl, be delusional on like the max delusion. Be delusional. Because even if you don't believe in yourself, pretend like that day you believe in yourself and ask for what you want. You gotta be
Mm.
delusional. It's gonna work out.
That is awesome. I love that. I kind of got a little caught off guard with that one. That's a good, I love it. And I'm
You want to be
take
like tenacity. No, delusion, babe. Delusion is what runs this.
That's perfect.
I literally once a day and I'm like, girl, you're delusional, but you got this. I'm like, yeah, I do. Thanks.
You're
That's it.
right. You're totally right.
You're right, Nichole. Yeah, for sure. Delusion.
All right, so now we work in this industry and I've heard it as you're talking. You're a single mom. People think that we don't make money in this
Mm.
business. How, what did your parents, if you have a relationship with your parents, like what was their thing when you're like, yeah, I'm gonna be an esthetician? Like what, how did they take that?
So my parents were never those like academic parents who were like, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Um, I think my mom was the first in her family to go to some type of college. Like she went to trade school. She's in the
Mhm.
medical field. So she went to a trade school. So I think they were just happy that I was doing something that I loved and that I was passionate about. Um, I wasn't able to really get student loans. Like I got, I think, one small one, so they actually helped pay for my education. My poor mom, she was going through a divorce and like didn't have money for groceries, but here she was paid. I didn't know this till years later that
Yeah.
she was helping to pay for my aesthetic school because it was so expensive. But I think that they were just really proud of me for doing something that I loved. And they knew, I mean, in high school, I was doing everyone's makeup. Like they knew this was my passion. So I think they were just really proud of me for getting into something that I loved. My
Hmm.
mom loved the benefits of being like my model and my case studies in school. But my parents still tell me all the time how proud they are of me and even the way that my businesses grow in different directions. They were actually really proud. So I was lucky enough to have that as, coming from my parents, not like, and I think they were able to recognize my intelligence. So
Hmm.
it's not that I was not an intelligent woman.
Right.
And that's why I didn't go to be a doctor. This was my passion. And they've seen me struggle and they've seen me work my ass off to go from nothing to having something. And they've seen me get creative in those ways of doing it. So I think that they were just proud of me. And I don't think they've ever thought I was less intelligent for doing it.
Hmm.
Um, I think they were just really proud.
So I have met quite a few estheticians that they're like, yeah, when you ask them like, where do you see your career going and in the future? And they go, "Oh my God, I want to be a medical esthetician and I
Mm,
want to do all those things." And I'm like, "Okay,
hmm.
great. So what are we doing? What's the plan? How are we getting there?" And then they go, "Oh, I don't know." Or they'll go, "Oh, I'll just find a med spa so that they can pay for my education." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. I mean, girl, if you can find it, go for
Right.
it, right?" And then what was the other one that I got? Oh, I just need an apprenticeship like how the hairdressers have. And then I'll be on track. What do you say to those estheticians with those mind tracks?
So I don't think that's all lies.
Hmm.
Um, I always tell people, and when I work with business owners, I always tell them, you can teach skills.
Hmm.
What I want to see on a resume is your sales
Yes.
because we are salespeople. And I always call it ethically selling because this is a very psychological industry and our clients want results. They want to feel better.
Yeah.
And the way that they get those results are by you selling them your services and your products. So having conversations with your clients is not you being a sleazy car salesman, it's you actually helping them get the results that they want. So whenever someone is applying, or if they want to become like a medical esthetician, if they haven't had any sort of training, um, those med spas can always train you, but a lot of them are small business owners and even the franchise owners that I work with. They want to see how you can make the money. So make
Right.
sure that your resumes and your headspace is I'm going to go in there and I'm going to show them that I'm great at sales. I'm great at selling my services. I'm great at selling my products. I can keep clients. My retention rate is high. And then, yeah, they might want to invest in you and help you along the way. I think when it comes to more advanced aesthetics, I know medical esthetician isn't like a actual formal legal term here in the state of Florida.
Hmm.
But we went to like a private medical college,
Right.
Kaiser,
Right.
that at the time offered that. But that's really understanding the anatomy and physiology of the skin and how far you can push it in
Hmm.
order to get the results that your client wants. So that's a whole nother level of understanding the
Yeah.
anatomy and physiology of the skin. So I think that if you are willing to put in the work and really
Hmm.
open-minded and willing to learn, absolutely. But go into this as not that somebody owes you and not that you're so great, they'll just give it to you, but how can I work for it? How can I learn? I mean, I've never just gone into something like that. I've always entered as an
Hmm.
esthetician and learned along the way and built
Right.
myself up and built my career up. But yes, I think there's some truth to that, that maybe if there are med spas that are willing to do that, but go in with a sales mind, an
Right.
open mind. How can I make the money? Because in turn, you're going to make yourself a lot of money.
Hmm.
And then how can I learn these skill sets? Not just that you're owed them.
Thank you very much for saying that. I don't know what is going on with this generation.
People don't even show up for interviews. It's insane. Like I'm
I
trying to
know.
help one of my clients
Oh.
hire, and we see so many estheticians here in Tampa. By the way, we are the number one Venus city in the US. So I don't know if you've read that anywhere. We were voted per capita. We have the most cosmetic dentists, injectors, med spas, and people are still making 6 and 7 figures. So when people say like, "Oh, it's oversaturated," I'm like, "No, there's lots of possibilities. Like that's good. It means something's working." Um,
Oh my
but yeah,
gosh.
people don't even show up for interviews. It's so insane.
They always have a flat tire, right? Is that always the
They just
excuse?
ghost.
They
They just
just
ghost.
ghost? They don't even have
That's
the
so rude. So rude. And our
so
industry is
rude.
so small because I've like had tenants of mine apply at places to work. Or,
Uh-huh.
when I have clients who like spa owners who show me resumes, I'm like, oh yeah, I know them. Oh yeah, I already interviewed them.
Uh-huh.
Like it's so small. So
It
for
is
you to be so
so
unprofessional, it's insane.
yes. For
So
me,
insane.
I always get the oh, I have a flat tire. It is always a tire. It is always a tire, and I'm always like,
Where do you live? Are people like
like
off-roading in construction? That's
right.
insane.
I am here in Florida. I'm directly across from Tampa, so I'm over here in Port St. Lucie, and I'm just like,
His
are you
tires are
guys
just popping around here, huh?
exactly? And I'm like, really? So which one was it? The left or the right? Back or the front?
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Okay. But anyway, so Tampa is the most vain. It beat out Miami.
Yeah.
That is, wow. That's incredible.
I think there were a couple publications that came out because I said that to someone one time and they were like, I know. And I was like, you know too. There's like 3 people that I know that like actually knows this. Yeah, but per capita between all the cosmetic surgeons, dentists, estheticians, spa owners, injecting, yeah, anything that has to do with beauty and I think health actually too. Yeah, we are voted the Venus. I'm like, makes sense. We got great people here.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay. So, with that being said, what has been the lesson that you have learned about life that you wish regular people would just understand?
Oh, oh. Um, you know, when I got pregnant with my daughter, I didn't even know I was pregnant. And I was just like casually dating her dad. And I was going in for surgery and they ran a pregnancy test and the HCG in my system was so low. I was like, no, it was like a vitamin I took. Like I'm totally fine. Um, and the nurse told me that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And I know that that sounds like a bumper sticker, But I've really gotten into like manifestation and just like the 12 laws of the universe and just really understanding the cycle of things
Mm.
and lessons that are learned. And I was like, she's a liar in that moment because I was like, this is not for me. This is definitely to me. But my daughter ended up being the greatest thing that ever happened to me, right? I was this cute little 28-year-old running around town, again, feral.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had places to be and things to see, and I didn't.
Yup.
And
Yup.
my daughter literally made me like sit my ass down somewhere and work on myself and work on my business because it's not, I mean, not that she hasn't been pushed up to her stroller
Sure.
into a pub, but like it actually made me like grow up. She made me
Yeah.
grow up. So I think just understanding that there are some really, really, really hard moments in life, whether it's business, whether it's loss and grief, you know, personal, professional, there are some extremely hard moments where you might even just cry in fetal position and be like, it can't get worse than this. Well, it probably could.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but understanding how powerful you are to do hard things. That's what I tell myself in times like that. I'm like, you can do hard things. And I start checking off all the moments I've done some really hard things. But understanding that you are learning in those moments and how to get through those moments. I think those are kind of the biggest life lessons is that life happens how it's supposed to, as hard and unfortunate and devastating at times. But the lessons you can learn about yourself in those moments, I think really just kind of help get you through them, and create some of the life that you want on the other side.
Mm-hmm. So on Instagram, you are the beauty, was it beauty underscore biz underscore mentor?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you have going on right now so that our listeners, people watching this episode, how can they get in contact with you? How can you be their mentor?
Well, they can reach out to me online through Instagram.
Hmm.
Like you said, beauty underscore biz underscore mentor. They can go to my website, which is beautybabesonline.com. Basically, I run either a group mentorship. So right now we're in the beauty entrepreneur experience where I teach you about implementing AI, advanced sales tools, like the psychology of selling, what to say to actually get your clients to buy. SEO, like we go through all the technical stuff. I'm not
Cool.
one of those coaches that's like 30 new clients in 30 days. I'm like, this is what the algorithm loves, and this is how you're going to do it. I'm just a techie person. It's the Virgo in me. So, um, I have that going on as far as like group mentorship. It won't be open. Um, Probably when this podcast airs. I don't think it'll be open in this moment, but I do also do one-on-one mentorship. So if you're looking for someone to work with one-on-one and hold you accountable, I do that as well. So I'm there for them and they can call me, they can tell me what they're looking for their business, and we can just kind of customize it from there.
I love it. Going back to your mentor, are you guys still
Mhm.
in touch?
I'm actually on, so she chairs the philanthropy committee that I'm on.
That is
And I've
so
got lots of mentors. I like to be the dumbest person in the room. So I like to position myself. Um, I like to be in the room with like the CEO of the Performing Arts Center. I was just in a networking. I think that networking really opens up your business.
hmm.
So even if I'm smarter than people in certain areas, I can always learn marketing and strategy and sales from any industry. So yeah, she still is. I'm actually seeing her tomorrow at our committee meeting, so
That
it'll be
is
great.
so cute. That is awesome because you're paying it forward. Right.
Hmm.
You have your mentor
I love
and
it.
you are offering that same thing that you get to other beauty professionals. And that to me,
Everyone needs a mentor.
oh my God, it's beautiful, right? A
Everyone needs a
psychologist,
mentor.
a coach, a mentor, and then of course your friends, but make sure that your friends are actually worth it, you know?
Oh my God, that's like one of my first lessons. It's like, what can you let
Yeah.
go of? Like, do you have like some crusty, dusty man you need to let go of? Because he's probably affecting your business, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
that can affect your business for sure. So,
Totally. And okay, you're saying it, so you have definitely seen it where you go like, "Oh, the relationship's good. Oh, it's bad. Oh," and it's like this roller coaster and then it affects your
yeah,
paycheck.
I've had an ex where like I started to lose my excitement about my business. Like, our
Yeah.
bodies always know, right? And when you start to like
Yeah.
not feel like that, like excitement going in, I was like, oh, he is so bad for my business. You got to go. You got to go.
I love
My
it.
business is first. My money, my business, my child.
Yes,
Everything else, if it's holding you down and it's not supportive and it's not helping you grow, it's got to go,
that's
including
right.
the crusty, dusty bed.
Yeah, like Miranda from Devil Wears Prada. That's all. Bye-bye.
Oh, I thought you were
Um
gonna say Sex in the City. I was like, yeah, like
I
her.
mean Samantha Jones is great
That's
too.
Samantha. Okay, yeah.
So, okay. We're coming to a close, but what is a question that I did not ask that you wish I would have, and how would you have answered?
I don't. I think that this was a really great conversation. I don't think I'm sitting here wishing that you asked for anything. I loved it. I thought it was great.
That is fabulous. I love to hear that. And my head was cut off the whole time. Oh my gosh. Well, in any case,
I thought you just
so
liked a close shot.
I'm just like, hmm? It's the sun. Like the lighting is not good right now where I'm at, and it's fine. Anyway, so just do you have any final thoughts before we wrap it up? Like, I don't
Um,
want this conversation to end. I feel like it's been so good. So like, what else can we talk
funny.
about?
Well, I would just say if you guys are like out and about, if you go to Premiere or like if you go to IECSC, I love connecting with people that I've either, seen in classes, that I've spoken to at shows, know me from online. I love connecting. So if you see me out and about, um, make sure that you say hi. Even if you're in the Tampa area and you're listening to this and you see me out, make sure you say hi because I love connecting with other estheticians. I think we need that connection in our industry because a lot of times, even if we're like solo, we don't get that. We come in, we go to our suite, and we leave. So if you see me out and about,
Do you want to
say
plug?
hi.
Do you want to plug your spa, your space?
I mean, sure, I can. We're fully rented right now. I'm actually really proud that we're fully rented and that we stay fully rented. We have been for a few years now. But I own a space. It's called the V Suites. It's right in West Chase in that part of town in Tampa. And I'm just so grateful and lucky to have so many amazing, beautiful women who work here and pay their rent on time. Um, but that's another great way for estheticians to create additional revenue in their business as well. It's passive income. So
hmm
if you have a room and you're not in it all the time, you should definitely rent it out.
Nicole, thank you so, so much for being on the Beauty Pro podcast. I am so excited for everybody listening, watching. You guys, we're going to have her information in the show notes. Make sure you reach out, connect, network. If you're in Tampa, go check her out. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And we
Thank
will
you.
absolutely, we will talk to you guys next time.
Bye.